on June 17th. I call the Ashland Planning Board meeting to order. We can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And it's behind you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Couple public service announcements. The bathrooms are behind you if you need it. If you are going to speak tonight, you will go through me, and you will state your name and address so that the note taker back here can get that for the minutes. Okay? If we could go to the minutes of June 26th.
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by John Harbaugh, motion by Andy Fitch. All those, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we are going to skip down to old business and Mill Pond. If you're ready, Kevin.
Yep, thank you.
So for those who don't know me, I'm Kevin Leonard from North Penn Engineering in Concord, New Hampshire. I thought I'd start by just a quick overview of kind of what's happened since the last planning board meeting. Ron was very effective at getting the department head meeting scheduled for us on June 5th, which was a productive conversation with all the department heads. I believe they all attended. On July 3rd, we submitted a comprehensive set of revised plans, which included written responses to all department head review letters, written responses to the public comments that were received over a series of emails, and written response to the technical review memorandum number 2 from Brown Engineering. And since that time, we have received a pretty good number of responses. So Water and Sewers has responded, they have no further comments at this time. Police has responded, they have no further comments at this time. The fire department has one comment. They're looking for us to, which I'll get to when we look at the site plan, looking for us to put a turnaround on the Center Units Drive. And I just got copies of a markup from the electric department on some layout issues that the superintendent has gone through and marked up our plan and wants us to basically align the layout that we show in our plans with his markup, which we will do in the near future. We have not heard back from the building department or DPW as of yet. And today, this afternoon, we received a technical review memorandum number 3 from Brown Engineering, basically as a follow-up to our recent resubmission. So I thought I would focus on just sort of the highlights of the changes, starting with subdivision. As you recall, at the last meeting, we had a waiver for road width, which got denied. So we have redesigned the road with 28-foot width. So we have 10-foot lanes and 4-foot shoulders, which is consistent with the town subdivision regulations. In doing that, widening, maybe you can flip to the next slide. We kind of held that line, edge of pavement on the north side of the road is the same. And so the 2-foot widening, if you will, is shifted towards the water, towards Mill Pond. In doing that, we modified the center line through here, basically south of a foot, so that the northern edge of pavement of the road is consistent with how we've been showing in the past and consistent with kind of the road that's out there today on Mill Pond Lane. As you may recall, we've had an inquiry about the cul-de-sac design. We had designed the cul-de-sac to the town subdivision regulations since the original application, which included a grass island in the middle of the cul-de-sac. The ownership of the dam had asked us to see if we could convince or approach the town about modifying that, because they felt like a cul-de-sac that didn't have that island would be easier for them to get to and from with the occasional bigger piece of equipment they might have. And we had a pretty productive conversation about that at the department head meeting, and it seemed like consensus was that departments, DPW included, would rather not have the island, so we removed the island from the cul-de-sac. Otherwise, the outer perimeter of the island is the same, and all the departments appear to be, including fire and DPW, appear to be satisfied with that. So that's a revision from the previous plan. And then in the series of review comments that we got from the department heads, there was a whole slew of miscellaneous labeling and utility detailing and where valves were and stuff like that that kind of got incorporated into the greater set. But there's no other substantive change to the subdivision other than those two items I just named. We did submit a revised waiver. The town's subdivision regulations contemplate an open road section, and as you recall, because of the proximity to Mill Pond and the narrow corridor through here, we're proposing a closed section with closed drainage and curbing so that we can collect the stormwater and bring it to this gravel wetland over here. If we weren't to do that, it would just be sheet flowing off untreated surfaces to the pond, which is not something that DES is going to look favorably on. I don't know whether you have questions, how much everyone's digested everything we submitted. I also don't know, we do have a formal waiver request submitted, and I don't know if the board is interested in talking about the specifics of that tonight or not.
Probably not, because we just got these ourselves, the private
Around.
stuff. Yeah, we haven't had, no one has seen it until they opened their packages tonight.
Okay.
We got it at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right, yeah, I did too. I mean, the Brown letter, it's a 2-page document that's a pretty easy read. It basically says they think that what we're asking for is reasonable, and they feel like we do have hardship, in this location, and so, and our submitted waiver request sort of reinforces that. But if the board is prepared to talk about that tonight, then that's fair.
Let's continue on.
Okay. Do you want me to just continue right through the site plan stuff, and then we'll open up to other questions kind of generally? Okay, so let's flip over to the site plan. Thank you. I just want to point out in the subdivision that we have no comments for police, fire, water, and sewer, and the only comment I have from electric is to basically adjust our lines to what he's marked up. And I haven't heard back from building or DPW, but we're approaching a point on subdivision where we don't have any comments, really. Better catch up to me. Thanks. So, you recall that we were in here last, I had submitted an exhibit for a turnaround on the northern Union Drive, which we had shared. The idea was we didn't want to just change it blindly without getting kind of department head input on it. And so at the department head meeting, we had the benefit of everyone kind of in the same room and kind of got some input from the fire chief on what he wanted there. We've got that striped and signs with no parking. And so now there's a ability for a fire truck to come in here and back in there and come out. And that meets the national standard, the NFPA standard for turnaround. And I believe that's going to, appears to have satisfied the fire chief. I can get a comment on that turnaround proposed in his latest response letter. The one item that I sort of referred to earlier is that the regulations, the NFPA regulations say that if this is longer than 150 feet, then the authority of jurisdiction, which in this case is the fire chief, he has the authority to determine whether he wants to turn around or not. And in previous correspondence and someone at the department head meeting, he didn't have all the reference material in front of him, and he wasn't really prepared to give us a kind of a formal answer on that. And so I just requested that he kind of revisit it, and his letter has done that. His letter came back, and he's given us the section of code that basically he's determining he wants to have a turnaround here. So in our next round of the plans, we'll be integrating some sort of turnaround dam here, maybe shifting units easterly a bit, and kind of reworking this to get a turnaround there may cause us to have to reshape the basin or that sort of thing.
It'd just be a hammerhead, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly, we're doing hammerhead. We connected the water line out to Route 3, which was a comment from the water department. I did that sort of blindly, without having the benefit from both electric and water. I've asked for any existing plans around what's out there in the field, and they don't have that. So just to show that we're trying to address comments, I showed a water line coming right through up here and tying Route 3, but I know there's water brought in here. There's a yard hydrant here for the ice skating rink, and so when I did the details of that, I may end up connecting to an existing piece of pipe, or
Depending on the size.
we'll figure that out when we get there. But
Again, I'll get on it tomorrow.
for the moment, I'm showing it connected. And then, again, there was a whole series of kind of finer detail stuff, labeling and valves, and sort of addressing all the comments we got from everybody. The other, not super significant, but I wanted to note it, in a conversation before this submission, I did talk with the dam folks, the last conversation we had with Aaron, the dam. He had commented that we have a 22-foot drive here, and then when I came off, use the next sheet maybe. Just the arrow, or the down arrow. No? There. So right here, when we came off the parking lot surface, I had this at 15 feet, which matches this. And his comment, and I had a gate that was 15 feet wide, and his comment to me was that he would like that to be the same width as this, so it's not a choke point with the width of that, I'll call it apron, to basically from here to the sidewalk. And so I widened that to 22 feet, and I put the gate behind the sidewalk, and I made that 24 feet wide. And so before that was 15 feet wide, and so I basically widened that out to kind of address this comment we had a while back. And at the moment, that those are the only design changes that I've been specifically sort of asked to do and with the dam folks. But I wanted to point out that we did that, and we're sort of acknowledging that we need to work on this hammerhead. We're acknowledging that we need to coordinate our layout and utility work with the electric department's recent markup. And then we just got the Brown response back. A handful of those items are contingent on the town getting information, or the town deciding what's going on Industrial Drive. So some of that stuff is not something I'm going to be able to address until I get some sort of progress with town-related stuff. And there's a handful of things we owe that we kind of wrap up on our ends, sort of finer details with the drainage design, look for a test pit up here, which we haven't done yet. We're going to go out there and do that this summer, stuff like that. So my hope is that the next round of submission will really be able to shorten that list to something pretty manageable, and except for town-related items, which we'll advance as fast as we can, but we're sort of at the mercy of how it all comes together. So I guess at this point I take questions if there are any.
Does the board have any questions? Does the audience have any questions at this point? Yes.
I was just looking
Need you to
at,
state your name.
oh, Yvonne Downs, 6 Mill Pond Lane. I was
Can you
looking
stand
at,
up so we can see you?
yeah. I was looking at the first map that you showed, and it seems like, because there's a map of my property there,
Yep.
and the property above me, and in that, it has like my sheds in the neighbor's yard, and I don't know, and I guess that's not like a real representation of what my property is and my abutting property there.
We didn't survey your property, so we surveyed the limits of the parent tract that we're working on, and so we definitely defined this line. These lines here are a different line type, and so we've actually taken those from the tax map. And so they're not necessarily survey accurate, but they're a representation of what the tax map shows.
Is that an old tax map, or because It seems like a big, like the newest tax map?
And it's actually, it's from the GIS, I believe, yeah.
So that would be the newest one.
Okay, yeah, that's not, that.
Tax maps are wrong.
And I do have a survey, and my surveyor spoke with your surveyor for everything.
Tax maps are wrong all the time, so what we're showing is not necessarily representative. We didn't, we're not responsible to serve your property as part of our.
No, I was just curious too, like the location of like my house, those outbuildings that are so close to the road, it's so
I
obvious.
think what she's trying to say is
Right
that you're showing them on the wrong property. Her outbuildings, that's all.
Our surveyor did get the front corners as close, because they are the closest to our property line. They did serve our property line, and anything relatively adjacent to it so that we're aware of what's going on.
What?
They actually touch your property line. Those two barns.
Oh, I can see.
I guess if you have a survey and you want to share it with us, we can, I can look at that and I can try to update the representation of your parcel with your survey information if you'd like. I'd be happy to do that if you can
So
get that.
you'll get that to Jane, Jane will get it to him, okay?
Sure, okay. And then, so the other question I have is where my house and itself and the actual buildings are like so close to the road. And I'm not sure like what you have for, not a sidewalk, but what's the? Setbacks, and there's also like some of the, like the people's right to have part of the roadway for, I forgot what the word is I'm looking for, but there are, some rights for
Right of way.
It's not, but yeah, and there's an actual other term.
Oh.
Thank you. So, I'm thinking bicycle, walking, or just me getting in my sheds and my garage. Like, there's no room.
Right. So when you send the survey to us, we will send that on to him and he'll rectify that and clarify that for you.
What I can
What
tell
are the setbacks or now? What is the distance from where the road is? I mean, obviously it's.
What I can tell you is that your structures are grandfather conditions. They don't meet modern setbacks. That's a grandfather condition of your property, not ours, right? So your buildings, if they were done in today's standards, would have certain setbacks from the property lines because of the age of their grandfather condition, right? But that doesn't influence what we can do on our property. Is that right, Megan?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So I can have the road right up to.
We're gonna look into that for you,
Right,
yes.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm
Name and
Amanda
address.
Lau, Amanda Lau, 25 Fairway Drive in Ashland.
You can stand up, please.
Yeah, sure. I have a question about, you talked about widening the road
Yeah.
in toward the pond.
Yep.
So my question about that is, it's kind of marshy shoreline, and it's a shore, is it considered a shoreline, is my question. That kind of may sound like a stupid question, but what I'm going at is, you're gonna need to get some kind of variance from DES to do that. And have you considered, because it looks like a shoreline to me.
It is.
It is a shoreline. That's a Squam River. It's protected by the Protected Shoreline Act. There's 250-foot setback from the river. We're in protected shoreline. We're in the shoreline permit. It's also a railway and road transportation corridor that's existed for 100 years, and it isn't like this is virgin. What everyone's considering the slope, the banking that we've been working on, is really like where I built the railroad and where I let my gravel slide down to the riverbank. And so it's not a virgin condition. It's a transportation corridor.
Kevin, I believe the question is, do you need to have a DES permit?
I do.
To
The
work in the
variance,
water?
Yeah.
And the
I'm not
answer is
working in the
yes.
water, I know wetland impacts there, I'm gonna need a shoreline, I'm gonna need a shoreline permit.
The shoreline.
For the whole, and I'm gonna need a shoreline permit for the entire shoreline, so all the way
All
around.
the way around the property, you
Yep.
need lots of DES
And,
involvement.
and I'm just one, you know, I mean, things get grandfathered in, and I understand that, but I also know that the DES restrictions are much different now than they were 100 years ago when that railroad went in.
Yep,
And they will be dealing with them in the near future, I would imagine.
So I was just wondering if, you know, you're gonna need some kind of variance or something, and, I mean, I've had to seek one, not for shoreline, but I'm just saying that, you know, they're not rubber stamps.
Right.
I'm well aware of that, we do all kinds of permitting all over the place.
No, I know you do, but I'm just
So,
saying that.
one of the reasons that we haven't tackled that head on entirely is because until the board agrees on what we're building, right? You know, I was trying to build something less impactful to the shoreline, because I was trying to get a waiver to be narrower, right? And what we presented, we thought was reasonable. The board needs to make that decision, they denied that waiver, so now we're coming back with something that meets the regulation, which is going to be more impactful to the closer to the waterfront. But I want to get sort of that, get on common ground with basically a waiver approved, so that I know what I'm presenting back to shoreline. That doesn't do me any good to permit one thing and then get denied over here, you know what I mean? So it's a sort of a chicken egg thing, and I think we're getting close to be able to get serious about some of that permitting.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question. On the road intersection here with, whatever this is called, this is actually,
That's Winter Street.
yeah, Winter Street, it's pretty high traveled road, fast. I've been over there, they really travel fast. This comes in at our famous angle. And it always bothers me, if you want to take a left-hand turn, you're angled away from it. Is there any way, and we're encroaching into the young lady's property here, is there any way of getting this so that this has a gradual curve to it so that you can, the people turning left have more of an eyesight or an angle to make that transition? Anyway, that was just my question.
I guess a couple of things. The people that think on the left are going to be sitting over on the south side of the street, so they're going to be swinging this way, right? We're right up against the property lines, so we can't impact that property without permission from that property, and doesn't seem probable that she's going to want to do that. So,
It's just a concern, that cars travel up and down there pretty fast, way over the speed limit.
That whole intersection is a concern.
Yeah.
it's the other reason why we designed the northerly access, because the northerly access is just a better access, and it gets traffic away from this direction. So we're really, if you look at the traffic projections, there's not a lot of traffic expected down here. Obviously, the existing residences and these couple houses and a few trips are a model to go this way, but the expectation is the other egress will be used much more.
It's 20%.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mr. Letourneau.
Thank you. Paul Letourneau, 69 Thompson Street. I'm glad you brought up the second access. Access will go over the town's property and come into this system. Have you finished your plans for that? Have you talked to the DOT? Do you have any paperwork the DOT would think about approving that?
I met with DOT before this project even started.
Mr. Letourneau, they're still working on determining where that access is going to be, so they don't really have a solid answer for you on that yet.
And this board cannot deny the plan based on the fact they don't have state permit yet.
I want to know the DOT, just the conversation going on between the company, the town, and the DOT.
And that's one of the reasons why they're looking to do industrial drive.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Oh, sorry.
Just one more.
Could you stand up and say your name?
Yeah, Yvonne Downs. I guess I still didn't get an answer as to, according to this, is there 2 inches from the road? What is the distance from my buildings to the road?
Like I've said before, we're holding the edge of pavement of existing Mill Pond Lane. We can pull out the plans, you know, after this meeting, and I can scale it off for you, give you some actual dimensions. But we're intentionally not trying to encroach on any more than the road is already, right? Because that's, you know, even though technically we probably have that right, we're trying to like honor that you're already tight up against you already, and we're trying to minimize the impact to the pond. And so we're holding that line, and we're making sure that all our widening is happening away from you.
And then just one last comment, is when you had come to walk the property, you had put something down, which actually wasn't on my property, it was closer to, my property goes like right up to Winter
But we
Street.
they
and it
spray
was-
painted the line to show you where it would be.
Right, and so I will give you a copy of the survey, because according to that, my property went all the way to Winter Street, and we had it closer to,
So make sure you get that survey to the
Sure,
land use
yeah.
secretary, we'll get it to him. All right, continue on, Kevin.
I'm just taking questions. I mean, if we're done taking questions, I have no comments.
I think we're done taking questions, we can move on to the next
Okay,
question.
so I guess next steps that I have are, there was talk, and we met with select board a few meetings ago about a select board and planning board joint meeting. At the time, the select board felt strongly that to advance the discussion about Industrial Drive, those two boards need to meet together. And it was suggested that would happen 2 months from when we met with them, which was approximately earlier this month. But our belief, what was it, is that we weren't sure, some of them kind of bouncing between boards a little bit. From our perspective, or my perspective, I'll say, the Industrial Drive stuff is sort of tied to the town assembling an approach other than the one we have, which will start with that warrant article and ownership and legal stuff and whatnot. And as I reported at that last select board meeting, we were told by Fred, that basically back in December we were told this: hold up, don't advance an application with DOT. So we've intentionally not filed a driveway permit for our design to Route 3, because Fred told us that we're going to basically pursue this Industrial Drive option, which will start with a warrant article, and then he told us that the town would design, build a public street for us to connect to, and then obviously that would have to, the design of that would have to exist for us to design a connection to that public street. So those are actions that the town needs to sort of sort through for us to be able to follow through on meeting in the middle on that. So I just want to put on record that that's something we're waiting on. And I realize that it's not necessarily simple, but I want to point it out. My other question is, do you expect responses from DPW and the building department on the plans, or?
I am gonna talk to them first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And the industrial drive thing, just to be clear, is my fault. It's been sitting with me. I was under the misimpression that the town owned the entire industrial drive road. I realized tonight that is not the case. So that's on me.
Okay. Fair enough. We feel like we're going to design it, don't get approved, and we're being patient to try to work with the town to come up with a better solution that would benefit everybody. But we're just hoping to see progress, I guess, for lack of a better explanation.
I'll work on that with you.
Okay. If the select board still believes that there needs to be a joint meeting, we want to work on figuring that out. We don't know whether that would happen at a select board meeting or happen at a planning board meeting or a special meeting. It wasn't obvious to me that that was necessary, because I feel like the planning board has said, well, you need to work out the lot line adjustment stuff and the town-owned property stuff. With the town and the leadership of the town, which would be the select board, ultimately, if we got to the point where we're sorting that stuff out, we'd be, if I was doing a lot line adjustment, for instance, the town would be an applicant in that process with a separate application to be coming to the board and whatnot. So like, until there's some like direction and intention from the select board, I can't really act on things until I have like more input.
I'm only in my third week here, so.
I didn't know, that's not the right idea at all. You guys got anything you want to? So, obviously this means are going to continue, and,
And can I just bring something up, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind?
Yes, please.
So, one of the board members raised a concern about the site distance and the speed on Winter Street. And if that is a board concern, the board has the option to retain an independent third-party expert to review the traffic report that has been submitted by the applicant to determine whether or not that is in fact a safe intersection and can handle the anticipated traffic. So if you want to do that, this might be a good point in the application process to do that. The applicant would be required to bear that cost. There's a relatively new process set forth in the statute. We're sort of, I think, we come up with a list of 3 and you guys pick one, or we just all sort of agree on who that third-party expert would be. And then that person would review the plan and the traffic study on behalf of the town and give you an independent opinion as to whether or not that is a safe intersection. So if you're interested in doing that, that is something that you might want to move forward with tonight.
Okay.
And
John?
Kevin has a thought.
I think Brown Engineering has already reviewed
Did
all
they
of
review
those.
that?
I did them,
Did
yes.
they review? Okay,
Yep, I just wanted to point that out.
okay, I didn't know.
So,
If Brown Engineering has already reviewed it, then,
we need to look into that,
Yes.
because there was something about what they said in their review.
okay.
John Harwell, John Thomas, I elevate you up to full board voting status for the rest of the evening.
Congratulations.
Let me look at the Brown review and decide, yeah.
So,
No, we'll do it next time. No, yeah.
all right, continue on.
That's all I have, my sort of question is, we're going to have to obviously agree on some future continuance, and my goal would be to, if I know that the department reviews are in, I got the recent Brown one, I think that if I submitted probably one more time, barring the stuff that is sort of out of my control with the county stuff, that I can clean up the list to something very short. Frankly, most of the comments that are outstanding are more tied to the site plan than the subdivision, and so we think we're approaching, a situation where we're pretty close to having the subdivision in good shape. Obviously, the waiver needs to be acted on, and kind of go from there.
So you're asking for a continuance to what date? I would propose either the 21st of August or the 4th of September. One thing. Andy, do you have a motion?
I do. On the advice of our council, I make a motion for a third-party review of the legal advice presented to this board on the Mill Pond project.
Okay, do I-
So basically, they're gonna get another legal opinion on top of mine.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, do I have any further discussion on that? You all understand? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
So in light of that, I would suggest the September 4th date, because whoever they hire is gonna need to come up to speed on a lot of material.
So I guess 2 questions. One, I was maybe contemplating the second meeting in September, because to make these meetings most beneficial, I gotta get my stuff in 2 weeks in advance for it to be new material, for it to be.
Yeah, the 18th is fine too.
Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense. I want to be able to like try to collect the data, get a submission in, and
Yep.
I guess my other question is, and maybe this is Warren no longer advising the board, or it's just be two attorneys advising?
We are gonna figure that out sort of as we go along.
All right, fair enough.
Extend it and go to the
Oh, yeah, we have to, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Will you send a letter?
yes.
Did you say September 18th, Kevin?
September 18th will be the continuance of the Mill Pond hearing
Okay, for both applications.
for both applications.
6:30 here.
6:30, it will either be this place or the school gymnasium.
If you-
School multi-use room, sorry.
If you're going to continue to a time and date specific, you also need to continue to a place specific, and you're going to need to send out new notices. So may I ask that you pick a place?
Mr. Town Manager, what is your pleasure?
I'll go with school.
What?
School?
So it'll be the school multi-use room.
You know where that is, you've been.
I'll figure it out.
I haven't been there yet either, so we'll figure it out together.
Isn't that the gym?
No, it's the cafeteria,
Multi-purpose.
multi-purpose. Yeah, what time?
For town meeting.
Do we have precedence for the school, because they usually do like a welcome barbecue on the second or third Thursday of September?
Yeah, that's why I do want to
Yeah.
go to a specific place.
Do we take, do we take precedent of the use of their space? Probably not, right?
Taking this particular case.
Not over an SAU.
Let me just check and see if it's on the calendar. Bear with me one second.
So, send me an email, document everything you're still looking for, just to make sure I didn't miss it.
Yeah, yeah, good job.
I'll be working on that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to Mary. All right, anything else? All right, well, thank you. We're going to take a 5-minute recess while they pick up their stuff, and we reset for our stuff. We start the second half of this meeting. The review of the compact zone. I've spoken with the police chief and all other interested parties. They are all agreed to this plan. So now we are going to present it to the public. We're going to do 2 meetings of it. So this meeting and the next meeting it will be on. We'll take public comment. Anyone that has comment, please submit it to the land use board. But what this does is, you may remember 3 years ago, we passed a warrant article to establish a compact zone for mainly the police department with the firing of or the discharge of firearms and drunken disorderly, and also some fireworks. What this does is we read the state RSA, and we have a proposed area. If we could go up to the written part. Okay, so the written part simply is all properties abutting Route 3, Main Street, Riverside Drive, extending from Interstate 93 overpass to River Street and Winona Road. All properties abutting Winter Street to include the North Street and Hillside Avenue. All properties abutting School Street. All properties abut Highland Street up to Summer Street. All properties situated between Highland Street and US Route 3. Properties abutting Summer Street, Spring Street, Prospect Street, Cottage Place, and Cottage Avenue. All properties abutting Thompson Street extending from Main Street to High Street, and those abutting High Street and Potter Place. All properties situated between Route 3, Main Street, Depot Street, and Winter Street. All properties situated between Winona Road and Carr Avenue, including those situated on Washington Street and Ames Drive. Properties along Depot Street extending to Main Street to the railroad tracks. all properties situated between Collins Street, Depot Street, extending to the New Hampton town line. This includes all developments that house 3 or more units, as well as mobile home parks. So this is a compact area, it's a high density area. We're going to, because none of that makes a lot of sense to us until we see it visually. We can keep going down. Keep going. So these are the town tax maps, if we keep going down to the yellow shaded ones. Oops, no, back up. All right, so that would be Route 3, River Street, the part that is shaded. Continue on down. Okay. This would be the West Street area, all the parts that are shaded. Continue on down. So here we have Thompson Street, High Street, Potter Place, US Route 3, and the bulk of the downtown. Continue going down. This is all based on population density. Keep going down. So here we have Mill Street, Depot Street, Winter Street, Mill Pond area, down. There we have the Winona Car Avenue in that area, Ledgewood Estates. Keep going.
That's it.
Okay. So those shaded areas would be the proposed areas. Again, it's based off the state RSA that the police department is currently working on. The benefit of this is that if they were to find somebody, it would come to the town rather than go to the state, is one of the benefits. It gives them more leeway than what they have now for what they do. Do I have any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? If you have any comments that you'd like to do, please submit them to the land use secretary. We will be looking at this again next 2 weeks. And will be posted online as well.
So you're gonna put those maps and everything?
Yep, the whole package will be on the website for public comment for 2 meetings.
Okay.
Okay. Has the board have anything to say about this?
No.
Okay. Review of the multi-use language zone. Has the board had an opportunity to look at and discuss that? I'm going to say they probably haven't fully digested it, and I'd like to table that to the next meeting.
Okay, are you making a motion to do that?
I will make a motion to table it to the next meeting.
I second it.
Okay? Any discussion on that? We do need to do this, but it does need to be looked at and read. There's some stuff that we do definitely need to change. We will also be posting this on the town webpage for public comment. So please look at it, review it, and make any comments that you would like. What this does is it takes places in the town that are currently residential or commercial that have both residential and commercial into it, and makes them legal, shall we say. So, and there are several of those places throughout the town. Okay. Yeah, why don't you the general purpose and district characters. Just bring that whole section, just go down a little bit. All right. That section right there is really the most important section. That tells us what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're going to end up doing it. And the rest is the nitty-gritty of how we're doing it. Any questions? Okay.
Kendall, was industrial included in this?
No.
Okay, good.
No, industrial is not. There's no industrial. This is only where residential and commercial are combined. And our zoning ordinance has commercial 1 and commercial 2. We're going to need to define what commercial 1 and commercial 2 are. there are different characteristics, but it doesn't define what the area is. Okay. Anything else? All those in favor of tabling it, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Review of the RV and camper, I don't have anything for that, so that will have to be pushed off onto the next meeting as well. Yes, sir?
Is that something you need on the way in?
Yeah, this is actually Tom's proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, and he knows it. We're going to talk. Correspondence. In your packages, you do have one correspondence. That correspondence is in opposition to Mill Pond. It brings up some very good stuff. So I have it here. I set it aside so that
That's a management company, where are
Yes.
they out of?
This is from Z&S Property Management, Zach and Sarah Stopes. They,
He was here tonight, wasn't he?
Zach was.
I think he
left.
left.
Yeah. So they have a letter here, which is very extensive and multiple pages. So I'm going to have this scanned and put onto the webpage as well. I will say it's a very well thought out and written letter. So, and it talks a lot about the fiscal impacts that Mill Pond will produce. Anything else? Our next meeting will be August 7th, 2025. That will be at the water sewer building. And we do have a very full schedule that day as well. Andy, is there anything you'd like to say?
No?
Mr. Town Manager, is there anything you'd like to say? Any board members?
I will be out, I'll be in California
Okay.
reviewing it.
Okay. Hearing no other things, I will.
There's a question in the back.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, not Soriani on River Street. I was just wondering, on the agenda for new business, there was something, FR, a next phase consultation?
Yes, they decided to come to our next meeting on August 7th. They weren't ready for this meeting. Do you know what ECFAR is, right?
Yeah.
The marina.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, the condos.
the condos, but yeah, it's Barry Goff.
Yeah.
And he will be coming to our next meeting.
Okay. Just wanted to know what happened to it.
He asked to come to the next meeting. So, hearing nothing else, I will close the planning board meeting for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Please stay engaged. The meeting in September with